The Silk Road Shadows, Part 2. The veil of Persia. The desert erased their footprints, but not their past. Ah Ming and Zhang pushed west, wounds unhealed, supplies fading. The relic of Xiyue lay in Persia, held by a prince who played fate like a game of Go. The path to him was treacherous assassins, shifting alliances, and whispers of war. Then came Sariya of Samarkand, a rogue, a smuggler, a woman with secrets. She knew the Persian prince, but could she be trusted? Pursued by the Order of the Crimson Veil, they walked the line between hunter and hunted. Some treasures should never be found, some secrets refused to stay buried. The Silk Road Shadows, Part 2. The Veil of Persia. Steel meets steel, a whisper of death singing through the narrow alley. Ah Ming's Jian catches Sariya's dagger mid-strike, the clash sending embers into the night. Shadows flicker against stone, twisting with the rhythm of their duel. Their eyes lock, measuring, testing. His grip is firm, honed by discipline. His is quicksilver, a blade without a sheath. A heartbeat of stillness. Then, a smirk, fleeting as moonlight on water. Before he can move, she is gone, vanishing into the veil of night, leaving only the ghost of her presence and the echo of steel in the wind. By the dim glow of a flickering lamp, Sariya unfurls a tattered map across the table, its edges worn by time and secrecy. Inked lines weave like veins across the parchment, hidden roots, forgotten trails, the lifeblood of those who move unseen. The Persian prince's palace is marked, its silhouette traced in bold strokes, but there are other symbols, smugglers' paths etched in hurried scrawl, cryptic markings known only to those who trade in whispers. One circle stands apart, darker than the rest. Do not enter. Sariya's fingers hover over the ink, her expression unreadable. A warning? Or a challenge? In the shifting lamplight, the map seems to breathe, as if it holds its own secrets, waiting to be unraveled. The grand bazaar hums with life, spices thick in the air, silk catching the sun in rippling waves, merchants' voices rising like a chorus of endless barter. Gold glints in the hands of traders, laughter spills between stalls, but beneath the color and noise, danger coils unseen. Ah Ming and Zhang weave through the throng, their steps measured, their senses keen. But Sariya halts, her breath steady but sharpened, a flicker above a presence, veiled in shadow. From a silk-draped balcony, an assassin watches. Not yet a strike, but a warning, the silent promise of steel waiting to be drawn. Sariya exhales, fingers brushing the hilt at her side. Not here, not yet. The bazaar does not stop, oblivious to the unseen game unfolding beneath its painted canopies. The chamber is bathed in the soft glow of candlelight, its silken drapes stirring with the whisper of a night breeze. Against the far wall, a grand tapestry stretches, woven in threads of crimson and gold, Persian artistry masking something far older. Ah, Ming's fingers glide over the fabric, pausing at a break in the pattern that is too deliberate to be a chance. He leans closer, his breath shallow, waiting. Then, as the moonlight spills through the latticework window, hidden symbols stir to life, ghostly ink woven between threads, words meant for eyes that know where to look. Sariya steps forward, watching over his shoulder, her gaze alight with curiosity. A message? She murmurs, her voice barely a breath. Ah Ming does not answer. Not yet. The tapestry holds its secrets, but the night is patient. The desert stretches vast and endless beneath the moon's silver glow, dunes rising and falling like the breath of a sleeping giant. Hooves pound against the shifting sands, their rhythm swallowed by the whispering wind. Ah Ming leads, his silhouette sharp against the starlit expanse. Zhang rides close behind, his grip firm on the reins, ever watchful. Sariya's cloak billows as she glances back, shadows stretch long in the distance, riders dark and relentless in their pursuit. The air is thick with the scent of dust and danger. No words are spoken, only the unyielding press of urgency. The wind howls, a phantom in the night, but the chase has only begun. The golden gates loom before them, towering and ornate, their surfaces alive with intricate carvings. Serpents coiling through celestial constellations, their eyes set with inlaid gemstones that glimmer in the fading light. The metal is warm beneath the setting sun, whispering of secrets long kept. Sariya steps forward, fingertips grazing the gilded patterns as if deciphering a language woven in gold. Her voice is barely a breath. Beyond these doors, nothing is as it seems. Ah Ming and Zhang exchange glances. The air is heavy, thick with unseen weight. These gates do not guard a palace. They guard a labyrinth of schemes, where truth is a shifting mirage and every step forward could be the first into the abyss. The chamber breathes with the weight of centuries, the air thick with dust and the scent of aged parchment. Shelves stretch into the dimness, heavy with forgotten knowledge, their scrolls and tomes layered in time's neglect. Ah Ming steps forward, fingers tracing the worn spine of an ancient manuscript. The ink, though faded, still whispers its secrets. He turns a brittle page, his gaze catching on a passage, the relic of Xiyue. Sariya watches from the shadows, her breath steady, her intrigue sharp. Zhang stands near the entrance, ever watchful. Ah, Ming's eyes narrowed as he read. The relic's true power, lost to time, or perhaps merely waiting to be found. The chamber is a realm of opulent silken drapes, sway in the perfumed breeze. Golden lanterns cast shifting patterns upon the marble floor. At its heart, the Persian prince reclines upon a lavish divan, his robes flowing like ink spilled upon silk. Before him, a go-board waits, its polished stones glinting in the dim light. He gestures lazily toward the empty seat across from him. "Play," he says, a slow smile curving his lips. Ah Ming steps forward, his gaze sweeping over the board. The arrangement is deliberate, an unfinished game, yet as his fingers hover over a stone, he realizes, these are not mere pieces. Each move is a choice, each sacrifice a life. The prince leans back, eyes gleaming with quiet amusement. Choose wisely. At last the compass rests before them, golden, ancient, its surface worn smooth by the passage of countless hands. The etchings along its rim shimmer under the torchlight, celestial symbols twisting in patterns too precise to be mere ornamentation. The needle quivers, trembling as if aware of their presence. A breathless moment lingers. Then, Sariya steps closer, but Ah Ming lifts a hand to stop her. Something is wrong. The air shifts, heavy with an unseen force. The relic does not merely point the way, it stirs, watching. Zhang exhales, his voice barely above a whisper. It knows we're here. Shadows break apart, unfurling into a tempest of steel and scarlet. The assassins descend, a blur of flowing red veils and whispered death, their blades gleaming like fangs in the dim light. Sariya moves first, a dagger leaving her hand mid-spin, silver flashing through the chaos. A strangled cry follows as it finds its mark. Zhang's saber meets an enemy's strike with a blinding clash, sparks bursting in the narrow space between them. He pivots, turning defense into a ruthless counter. Ah Ming steps forward, his jian carving through the fray with measured precision. There is no wasted movement, no hesitation. The Crimson Veil does not falter. They are not here to threaten, they are here to kill. Flames roar behind them, devouring silk-draped halls and golden finery. The Persian prince's chambers collapse into chaos shouts, steel, the acrid scent of burning parchment. On the rooftop's edge, Sariya moves first. She leaps, her silhouette cutting against the firelit sky, red and gold licking at the darkness. Ah Ming follows without hesitation, his jian still slick with battle. Zhang lands beside him, breath steady despite the inferno at their backs. Below, the city stirs, guards rally, voices rise. The night is closing in, but the rooftops are theirs. One path forward, no room for hesitation. They run. The chamber is silent, but for the distant crackle of dying flames. The Persian prince kneels, his silken robes disheveled, yet his posture remains untouched by fear. Sariya's dagger glints under the flickering lamplight, its edge pressed firm against his throat. Her voice is a breath, a threat wrapped in silk. "Where did you send the relic?" The prince does not flinch. Instead, his smile lingers slow, knowing. Because he holds something far sharper than steel. A secret. And they are already too late. The grand hall stretches into shadow, its vastness swallowed by flickering candlelight. Marble columns rise like silent sentinels, their veins dark as spilled ink. At the far end, upon a throne of black marble, a figure sits unmoving, watching. Before them, a crimson-masked assassin kneels, head bowed in silent reverence. The air is heavy, thick with the weight of unseen schemes. No words are spoken, yet the truth settles like a blade at the throat. This is the hand that moves the order of the Crimson Veil, the shadow behind the assassins. The true master has revealed themselves, and the game has only just begun. The Persian capital burns. Flames twist through the streets, embers spiraling into the smoke-choked sky. The city roars with the voices of the oppressed merchants, soldiers, beggars, and nobles alike, their cries merging into a force that surges against the prince's rule. Steel clashes in alleyways, banners are torn from gilded balconies, and palace guards fall beneath the tide of rebellion. The night is alive with the scent of fire and fury, but amid the chaos, something slips away unseen. The relic gone, lost once more to the shadows, and with it, the fate of an empire hangs in the balance. The firelit streets feel distant now, muffled by the weight of silence. Sariya stands apart, half consumed by shadow, her silhouette unmoving against the shifting glow. In her hand, a letter, its wax seal unbroken, but the sigil pressed into it speaks louder than any words, not of Persia, not of rebellion, but of the Order of the Crimson Veil. Ah Ming and Zhang do not yet see, do not yet know, but the choice trembles at her fingertips. Allegiance is a blade, and Sariya is caught at its edge. The first lightning bolt splits the heavens, white-hot against the ink-dark sky. A heartbeat later, the wind howls a beast unleashed, clawing across the dunes in a rising tempest of sand and shadow. Ah Ming urges his horse forward, the reins taut in his grip. Zhang rides beside him, his eyes scanning the storm-torn horizon. Behind them, Sariya leans low over her saddle, her cloak whipping in the wind. But the storm is not their only pursuer. Dark figures move through the shifting veil of dust, relentless, closing in. Thunder rolls overhead. The hunt has not ended. It has only just begun. The wind howls through crumbling archways, stirring the dust of a forgotten place. Once, water pooled here, a sanctuary carved from the desert's merciless grasp. Now the fountains are dry, the walls cracked by time, and silence lingers like specters. Ah Ming dismounts first, his boots stirring sand over the faded mosaic beneath him. Zhang scans the empty corridors, hands steady on his saber. Sariya kneels beside a half-buried skeleton, fingers brushing brittle bone. They are not the first to seek refuge here, and by the whispers in the wind, they may not be the last to perish. Steel halts in the breath between heartbeats. Zhang's grip is iron, his fingers locked around Sariya's wrist, holding the dagger mere inches from his ribs. The desert wind howls through the ruined caravanserai, but there is only silence between them, tense, taut as a drawn bowstring. Her pulse thrums beneath his touch, but her eyes do not waver. Betrayal? Survival? The question hangs between them, unspoken yet deafening. Ah Ming steps forward, Jian half-drawn, his gaze unreadable. The dagger trembles, caught between past and future, a choice yet to be made. The canyon stretches wide before them, its depth swallowed in shadow. The wind carries the scent of distant rain, the whisper of something ending, or perhaps only beginning. Sariya stands at the precipice, her cloak billowing, footsteps already angled away. Behind her, Ah Ming says nothing, but the weight of the compass in his palm feels heavier than steel. She glances back, her voice barely more than the wind. This isn't over. Then, with the grace of a fading mirage, she turns and vanishes into the desert. Ah Ming watches until the dunes swallow her silhouette. Some paths, once taken, cannot be undone. The desert stretches endless before them, painted in the dying hues of twilight. Below, the last traces of battle have been swallowed by shifting sands, the past buried, but never forgotten. Ah Ming stands atop the ridge, the wind tugging at his cloak. Zhang is beside him, silent, watchful. The relic is gone, lost to the chaos. Yet in the distance, beyond the horizon's edge, something stirs. Shadows still follow, threads still unravel. The journey is far from over. Ah Ming exhales, his grip tightening around his Jian, westward. And so, they begin again.